Hello, everybody. Welcome once again to 2MW Play Call. I have again my favorite guest, Spoonie, on the line. We just got word about DK Metcalf's suspension, and Spoonie, you're not too happy about it. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, well,
Two
I'm
games.
not too I'm not too thrilled about it because I look at it as I thought assaulting a fan will be much more,
Hmm.
and compared to into into the other players who've been suspended under Goodell,
Okay.
it makes me it kind of questions things like is it a certain because you play for a certain team, you get this amount of time. What is it? And in my personal opinion, when it comes to this fan situation, um, this they did their research. There's also video out there for anybody who hasn't seen it. They look at it and they give you different views of what was saw. Now, DK has said that the fan said some crazy stuff about him and a relative of his family member.
Okay.
Um,
Wow. Okay.
Now, which is I can understand that get under anybody's skin, but I'm not an investigator, but I will say, um, looking at the video from my point of view, they could have been where let me just move on, get the
Right.
man escorted out the building instead of walking up to him to and assaulting him. Now, yesterday when this happened, right away, I thought the NFL was gonna drop the hand on him because you assaulted a fan. You
Yeah.
walked up to a fan, and again, I'm not celebrating if he did got the year suspension. No, it's just a thing of how Goodell has handled other players. I thought this was worse, assaulting a fan,
Right.
but and 2 games left. Okay, then it's the postseason right here. So it's a thing where um the Steelers right now they're not in the postseason. They got to win the next two to get in. Um, Baltimore is 1 game behind them.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So at the end of the day, it's going to be Pittsburgh and Baltimore for the to determine who's going to the playoffs. And DK won't be there. Now they're saying that he can definitely appeal, but people feel it's going to stand. It's gonna stand. But I just feel the suspension they gave only for the 2 games, and that's it. I thought it would be much bigger. Um, I question it only because of how other players were dealt with their suspensions,
Right.
and I thought assaulting a fan would be the worst thing you can do. But
Exactly. Yesterday you said that he would probably get like 6 games.
right,
Clearly that's nowhere near 6 games. But you're right. Assaulting a paying customer in any industry, not even just football, is a no.
right, and the thing is this: the only ones who know what was said is between DK, the fan, and anybody who's in the vicinity of them would know what was said. Now, as far as us looking at video, and when it comes to video just gives you the quick emotion right away. And in the video, what do you see? You see he stands there for a second. He then walks up to the fan. He pulls the fan down. I believe by like
The collar or the
where you go
hair?
the
No, no hair.
collar or hair the hair, and then you hit him. That's an assault, regardless. It's an assault.
Hmm.
So that's the thing that we see. That's the video. Everything else is hearsay. So I expected the NFL to really drop their hand on this, and it didn't. But the one thing I disagree on this is that now other fans, I mean other players, listen, players. A lot. I've been to. I go to football games every year, and I've been around fans who have said the most craziest things that you shouldn't say. You
Right.
know what I'm saying? And I'm not trying to go beyond the conversation, but there's fans out there who I understand if you feel that temptation to want to assault, to want to go up to them because of the thing that is being said. At the end of the day, when it all boils down to it, plays should be kept in the highest standards. At the same time, the NFL has to find a way to separate the fans and the players on certain times where these things come up. Like when the players leaving the game, at the
Right.
end of the game, by that tunnel, you have NFL security, you have the stadium security, and you got NFL team security. There's too much security for these things to happen, and it shouldn't happen. In that situation, they should have been. It should have been where either DK confronts an officer, security officer. Hey, can you? This man's antagonizing me, saying these crazy things, and get him escorted. We've seen guys like in the NBA, they do it, and I think that's what should have happened yesterday. But in this case right here, he only gives 2 game suspension. Um, I mean, what's to say a player on another team runs into a fan and it happens?
Right. Right.
Two games, 2 games. This is what we're doing. So I'm kind of shocked. I don't agree with it because of how other players were dealt with their suspension. Like Ezekiel Elliott, I'm a Cowboys fan, and there was an allegation when he was being accused of in college.
Yeah.
He's already in the NFL. The NFL hired for what reports were made. The NFL hired an NYPD detective to investigate
Mm-hmm.
a woman at that. So
Mm-hmm.
it was like to make it more where it's balanced. There's no bias. There's none of that. And in their viewpoint, he was innocent. But according to the NFL rules, you could still face suspension regardless of the outcome. And
Right.
that's what they did. They gave him 6 to 8 weeks. So when I look at this situation with DK, and again, I'm not trying too hard to, I want him suspended longer. No, it's not the case. I just question it when it's like, so fans are not that important. Assaulting a fan is only that's it. It's a slap in the wrist.
So I,
2 games is a slap in the wrist.
I think like we talked about before,
Right.
we the NFL probably considered the fact that there is some kind of pivotal decision on the playoffs. Because if he gets suspended more than 2 games, then if they do get into the playoffs, then it affects that. You know, um, and I don't know if I would want something that happened in the regular season to be affecting the playoffs. Although you can't judge it just on the game. You're talking about the principle of punching somebody in the face that's in the stands that may not be big as you, as strong as you. I get it, but I understand why they landed at 2. And just to add on top of that, not only did he get 2 games, everyone, but he was fined $555,556 for the 2 games. So it's not just games off. It hit his pockets too. Wait, I mean, I think half $1 million is fair.
He's making 35 mil. You know what? If that was me, I would give the NFL a check of that amount of money and put a happy face stamp on it. Say thank you for understanding.
Right.
That's some
You
change.
think it's light? You
That,
think it's light? Yeah.
it's like, and see, here's the thing about it. And this is not again. I'm not targeting DK. I'm not wishing that it would have been more. I just question everything because of how others were treated. And the thing is this: that this is my thing. NFL players on the field, they talk at each other, they jab each other, they Google about their family. They use all that stuff on the field to get ahead, to take advantage of the other team, getting ahead. And there's a lot of things that's being said. I have spoke with NFL players, whether it was the NFL draft or any situations that I've been in where there's fans and NFL players involved, and they have said the most crazy of things that has took place on the field.
Right.
So you mean to tell me now again? You gotta have thick skin on the field because you don't want to cost your team the game, no game check. You want to win. You want nobody to be suspended. And again, don't get me wrong. Words hurt. Words do hurt.
Mm.
But at the same time, you have to understand where you at and
Right.
where that fan is at. That's the difference.
Right.
That is the difference. You are a $35 million receiver. I'm not trying to count that man's pocket, but I'm pretty sure ain't nowhere near yours.
Mm-hmm.
So the thing is, words may hurt. So what you do is you get him where it hits the most. You get him banned from the game, banned from the stadium, X, Y, and Z, and with a fine. I think fans should be fined as well.
Oh.
Because and I think fans should be fined the same way if you get on a train or a New York City bus and you don't have if you didn't pay for a ride, you get fined $125, right? Well, that should happen in the stadium. If you this rules and regs, this violations. Maybe we need better security. I don't know, but at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, the fans should also feel the heat. This right here don't make it better. To me, this is hush. This is hush. Don't worry about 2 games. Now, I want to be honest. Just be honest. We don't know that fans' well-being or whatever the case may be. We don't know anything. But if I got punched in the face and basically now again, this is hearsay. We don't know what was said. But let's just say I didn't say those things that he said, and all he gets is 2 game suspension and a fine. What does that do for me?
Well, great question. I was reading a little bit before we hopped on, but the name of the fan is Ryan Kennedy, and like we said yesterday, he definitely went to a law firm. So according to ESPN, it says Ryan Kennedy, the Detroit Lions fan involved in the altercation with Metcalf on Sunday, denied he used a racial slur, misogynistic, or hate-based language during the incident, according to the statement released by a Michigan law firm Monday. So that means he left the game and probably went straight to the law firm, right? He said they said these allegations are completely false, said the statement released by Sean Head and Sean Murphy, head of Murphy Law. The statements also said Kennedy has experienced harassment, threats, and messages advocating violence since reports began circulating on social media that Kennedy used a racial slur towards Metcalf and called Metcalf's mother an inflammatory word. So, at least from that sentence, we're hearing that from Metcalf's side, he's saying that he called him a racial slur and said something about his mom. This guy's denying it. I mean, I can't. Obviously, we can't say who's telling the truth or not, but it just shouldn't have happened in the first place. That's your stance, right?
Right.
You
That's
know.
correct. That's correct. I'm
So
sorry. You got caught up again. I'm sorry.
no, I'm here. Basically, I have a question for you. You know,
Okay.
what do you think happened on the security end? Like, why wasn't security there?
I'm sorry. 1 second. I'm getting choppy. 1 second.
So all you hear, just go ahead and like and subscribe to the channel. This segment is called Play Call. I'm here on the phone with one of my friends who is a super football fan, Spoonie, and we're going over the suspension of DK Metcalf. Can you leave in the comments, do you think that the suspension was fair or not? 2 games. Tim, are you back?
Yes, I'm back. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I'm back on.
So, what do you think happened with security? Why was DK able to get that far and the altercation able to happen?
Well, I don't think. Well, I don't think security was close to the situation as they should be.
Mhm.
You know, when I go to games and I've been to games, you see, you have security. I'm not trying to say anything crazy where they don't do their job. But in this situation, nobody did their job correct because at the end of the day, when it boils down to it, there should have been somebody intercepting DK for walking towards the fan. And if the fan was heckling, and when you at the lower level section, you should have security there because they'll tell you to lower your tone X, Y, and Z because they don't want an altercation.
Right.
So, and like I said, I've been around situations where people have said a lot of crazy stuff to players in the lower level section, and things that I did not like to hear. It was very disrespectful and degrading.
Right.
And the fans were removed. They were giving warnings and they were removed. Listen, in the football game, it's emotions. It's a lot of emotions. It's your team versus my team. Some people take it out of control, out of context. They go a little bit too far. You got other fans who just comment, just want to enjoy a good game. So it's a lot. It's a lot that happens. Just like on the field, when you're a football player, and you want to win this game, there's a lot on the line, stuff like that. It gets to you. So with this situation right here, I understand how in DK's side it just got pissed off because words can hurt. But when it comes to security, they didn't do a good job because at the end of the day, you got the stadium security and you got NFL team security. They own security. You know what I mean? So instead of being reactive because it already happened, they got to be more proactive.
Right.
So
Right.
I have the experience in some form of security. So
Right.
I could attest to that right there. So to me, security should have been more around where, hey, listen, we can't have this. And at the end of the day, if they was disrespecting DK the way he said it, that fan should be easily been removed and banned and fined.
So
This is it,
go
I'm
ahead.
sorry. No, what I'm saying is basically what I'm saying is if the NFL wants to if the NFL wants to um, stop this, basically moving forward, we can't have these type of altercations between fans and players. Then the punishment got to hit
Right.
to show the example. In my opinion, this is not an example. And when you asked me yesterday about how many games, I judged it upon the other suspension the other players got.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Even whether innocent or guilty. So my thing is, it feels like with all the suspensions under Goodell, under the commissioner of the NFL, the outside activity you get more time than
Then
the in-house
in game. Okay. Yeah.
in-game. Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's mind boggling because the fans paid the money.
Yeah.
The fans paid their money to go to these games. When it comes to the outside activity, that's a choice of the players, knowing what they're doing is wrong. In this case here, what happens if, let's just say, a fan yells something at a player. The player is not looking at that fan. The player then turns around, walks towards the fans, and the one who really did it, he blames somebody else or whatever, and that innocent fan gets dealt with.
Yeah.
Think about it. How would that look like? So again, with this 2-game suspension, listen, I don't, I don't like violence, but I will say, when people say when you're upset and you're just pissed off, you want to take out a punching bag. Trust and believe, I wouldn't put it past me if an incident like this happens again because of how short and low this punishment is. And that's just my opinion. We already have players being recorded, talking back with the fans.
Right.
With saying some words. That's saying some of these things are very close to a bigger altercation.
Right. Right. Um, I actually want to skip over to one other Steelers related topic. Um, and that is once again another year of Mike Tomlin having a winning record. Do you think Mike Tomlin is underappreciated or over like or do we need more than just a record?
No, no, I have argued that Mike Tomlin is in the same class as Bill Belichick, in my personal opinion.
Mm,
The Steelers have a very he has a very good winning record in his career. Mike Tomlin is a great coach. He's a great coach. This is not. I'm not saying him versus Bill Belichick, but in the same tier as a tier one, or people prefer a tier two. He's right up there by Bill Belichick as far as being a long tenure head coach. And the Steelers have been a winning organization under him. Times have changed, and he has dealt with a lot of players with attitudes, with questionable attitudes, and things like that. AB, Martavis Bryant was, until he tried to come back, but he got suspended. Um, DK right now with the situation, the alleged George Pickens situation.
right,
So, he has dealt with so many and doesn't get really credit. And right now with the Steelers at today, the Steelers they're not a young team. They're pretty much a
right.
fairly older roster. And normally when you play an older roster, that older roster starts to deteriorate as the season goes along. We're talking about 18-game season,
Right,
and again he's had these guys um right in the middle of everything. And this is where they are right now, right in the middle of everything still to this day. And it's not easy. We're talking about Aaron Rodgers, who is going to the Hall of Fame. Whenever he decides to retire, it might be after he turns 55 years old. Who knows?
right,
But but the thing is, he played 1 year with Tomlin. You got DK Metcalf. There's a lot of improvement this team could use, but they right now they're fighting for division and a playoff spot. So I have to give Mike Tomlin his credit where his credit is due, and I think he's one of the best. He's one of the best. And listen, if anybody feels any different, I don't know what you're gonna bring up to say he's not. So I have to question that.
do you credit him for Aaron Rodgers, like extended Aaron Rodgers career? Cuz Aaron just came from the Jets, right? And
Right,
um
right.
do you think that do you think he's gotten the respect of Aaron Rodgers? How do you think that dynamic is, right?
Well, okay. I'll say this. Aaron Rodgers on the Jets, and it was a bad situation, in my opinion, that he caused. I want to put that out. A lot of it was on him.
Mhm.
It was on him. Um, now with the Steelers, you have a coach. Um, I'm not saying he'll challenge Aaron Rodgers, but there's agreements on how we're going to run this football team. And whatever agreement they reach, look at the result. The results are still pretty good. Like I said, it's an older roster. They still got They still got holes on the team, but they made it work so far. And it's with injuries and other things that were going on, they control their own destiny. They went out these next two games. They're in the postseason,
Right.
and so when you look at Tomlin and Rodgers and a lot of people, including myself, I thought it would never work, but it's here now. I don't know what happens next year if Rodgers continues. If he wants to continue playing, I don't know how that look. If depending of how their season or playoff ends, but I can say for the right now is whatever they got going, they agreed to it, and it's working. It's working.
Mhm. Um how long does Aaron Rodgers have? Is he on a regular contract or is this his last year of a contract?
I believe this is his a 1 year deal. So, but maybe Philip Rivers coming out of retirement might have motivated him to play one more year or something like that. But I'll say this: there's one more year left on his contract. I think this is it. I believe this is last year of his contract.
Mm-hmm.
But if it is, I wouldn't be surprised if he's asked to be brought back, depending on how they finish. I wouldn't
Really?
be surprised. Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if they asked him. And maybe Rodgers want to leave. I haven't heard anything or see anything related there. This is his last year. It was said, but I wouldn't be surprised if, depending how everything ends, he's asked to be back.
Well,
I wouldn't be surprised.
okay. I just do, honestly, do you think he still got another year in him?
In my opinion, no. I no. I this is for me. This is just me. It's worked this year. It's been ups and downs. Don't get me wrong. It's been ups and downs. Um, I wouldn't be surprised only because there's no stable quarterback or up and comer quarterback behind Rodgers. Now they drafted Will Howard out of Ohio State. He was on the IR most of the year. He's a third stringer.
Mm-hmm.
Will Howard, if everybody wants to be familiar, he was the Ohio State quarterback last season when they were in the playoffs. And it's a thing where we don't know where he's at. He's been an IR all year long. Um, the current backup right now, he's been on the team since being drafted out of Oklahoma State. So it's a thing where there's nothing stable behind Rodgers. Now, it's easy to say they'll go draft a quarterback, but we know it's very easy. Some of these quarterbacks don't pan out.
Right.
So to have that stability there, you want to have something, and I wouldn't be surprised, depending on how they finish. Because sometimes when in a player's mindset, this is it, but if you get close enough to the goal,
right,
and if you didn't finish the way you wanted to finish, you'll be motivated to come back. So,
but does any football player, is any QB that's gonna go to the Hall of Fame like an Aaron Rodgers satisfied with how they end? I feel like they all find an excuse to come back.
You know what it is? It's like retiring from a job. When you're very good in doing that one thing, it's hard to look at something else and start over again.
Mm-hmm.
And so the thing is, you want to at least get back into the game or get at least close to the game by, whether it's commentary, your reporter or whatever, just to be around that football love, that smell, to be involved in the game. And that's what it is. So it's when you've been doing this for so long since Pee Wee.
Right.
And, now it's like, you're old enough to not just relax and retire. Some people just can't leave the game, so they find a way to get back in there, whether it's playing now like Rivers, and Rodgers, or coaching, but somewhere close to the action.
Right.
It's that's just it. That's just it.
So and I totally get it. If it's up to him, he like your joke but really serious comment just mentioned, he's playing until he's 55. Right now we have Monday Night Football going on. We have the 49ers leading the Indianapolis Colts, sorry. 24-14. San Francisco's 10-4. Your feelings about their season so far?
The Colts?
Well, okay, if you want to start with the Colts. I said the 49ers.
Well, I'll do the 49ers first.
Mm-hmm.
So with the 49ers, Cal Shanahan is a great coach in my opinion. He's in my opinion, when it's all said and done, the day he leaves his game, he will be up there with the mentions of Belichick and stuff. And it is not because of the rings. It's because of how he has his team prepared.
Right.
The hardest thing in this league is that when you have major injuries in key positions like quarterback, running back, offensive line, wide receiver, depending on how you run your team and what's the focal point. The thing is, it's very hard to keep everybody intact and still win. And he has done that. Brock Purdy has signed a big contract with
Yeah.
the 49ers and missed a lot of time, missed a lot of games, right?
Yeah.
And you have Mac Jones, who was originally drafted by the Patriots, went in there and held it down. You also be talking about the key departures like Deebo Samuel to Washington. He's no longer there. We're talking about injuries to Brandon Ayuk, the receiver. He hasn't been here all year.
Right.
So Ricky Pearsall, who was a drafted wide receiver, he missed some time this year. So to have this team where it's at with only 4 losses, and now everybody's coming back pretty much healthy, I have to give it.
Yeah.
If I have to give the Coach of the Year award, it's definitely Shanahan. Not because of the record, not because it's because what we have seen him do to have this team where they at. And now this team has lost 2 of their best defensive players, in Bosa and in oh my God, I'm going mind block. They'll come back to me. They best middle linebacker. These are guys who are tops in their position. I'm talking about top 5. Warner. There you go. They're linebackers. So the thing is, when you're losing guys who are top 5 in their own position on that whole defense, still got these guys competing, it speaks volumes. So I do give it to the 49ers. And, Shanahan, he's done a great job. As far as the Colts,
Yeah.
I'm gonna give my flowers to the owner. I don't know. I forgot her name. I'm gonna give my flowers to her. Rest in peace to, I believe her father had passed during the off season, and she has taken over. And I know she's been doing certain things that we don't normally see. But for a woman, in my opinion, to just block whatever negativity that was being said that she can't do and won't do. No, she stood her ground. They made some key trades to better their team. They made a crazy move at quarterback. Now, I will say this for the Colts. The only bad thing is they did not prepare themselves. Now, Phillip Rivers is 45 years old. I'm not saying he can't play. But the crazy thing is that I'm not mad at the move. I'm not mad at the move from getting Rivers, because if we debate that, the number one rebuttal is going to be, well, who's out there? There's nobody out there.
Yeah. I mean, you remember when Cam made the note that there are other
Right, and the thing, this is not like two-man touch or flag football where let's come in here and run some play. It's more deeper than that. And to Phil's point, Phillip Rivers, he was here with the Colts. That was his last team. He was originally drafted by the Chargers, but he ended with the Colts. This is 5 years ago. So that's the defense right there for him. Like, well, he was on the team 5 years ago. He knows the scheme. He knows also the head coach, who's original was from the Chargers before he became a head coach. So there's familiarity right there, and I understand that. I get it. But but the bad part is that's there's no other quarterbacks out there.
Right.
Mind you, the NFL has after the 49ers a couple of years ago, when they lost all 3 of their quarterbacks for the playoffs, the NFL came out and said, well, we're going to have a third emergency quarterback as long as he only could play if the first 2 quarterbacks go down. And when I look at the Colts, and for you to have to go back and bring somebody off the couch for 5 years ago, not 1 year, not 2 years, but 5 years. 5 years. It tells me that moving forward, you have to do a better job. But not only the Colts, I think every team, because this can happen to any football team. Any football team.
I
God
get
forbid
it, but go ahead.
Dak went down. Are we gonna call Troy Aikman 10 years out the league? Are we gonna call Tony Romo come back from from the CBS and play? No, we're not gonna do that. You shouldn't do that. You should have. It's the hardest position. It's
Hmm.
the hardest position. So you get your three best, your franchise quarterback, your dependable backup quarterback, and a very good third quarterback. You have to do those things. You know what I'm saying? And that's the thing about it. And
Well,
it,
then
it,
I mean, what was the Colts situation? Then because I feel like every team has Q1, Q2, Q3. Like what put them in this position in the first place?
well, first of all, drafting.
Mm,
You drafted a quarterback in Richardson out of Florida, who he's currently under IR with an eye situation.
mm,
Um, he's what is his second year into it. He hasn't shown any promise. Some people call him a draft bust. Some people say that he needs a new change of scenery, maybe. And I always say, for example, you can look at Baker Mayfield, who was having an MVP year. Baker Mayfield originally was drafted by the Cleveland Browns.
right.
After the Brown situation, he went to the Carolina Panthers with Sam Darnold. Imagine the Panthers having Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield as the number one, number two quarterback, and they both were bad with Carolina. But now look where they are now. They both separated. One went to Tampa Bay, which is a good football team, a playoff team. Sam Darnold went to Seattle. And sometimes it's not the players. Sometimes it's how the team develops those players to have that team ready.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So it's those things right there where I think the teams need to do a better job in developing quarterbacks and evaluating quarterbacks more because a long time ago, quarterbacks were drafted and they would sit behind a starter for 2 or 3 years.
Right.
Aaron Rodgers sat behind Brett Favre for 3 years.
Mm,
So it's a thing where now they're being rushed in. Revenue, jersey sales, the fandom. So these guys are being rushed in, but are they being fully developed the way they should? And this is the thing that Tom Brady spoke about last year coming into the season, that these quarterbacks are being rushed. And because they're being rushed so quickly, they're being judged so quickly, and they're being given up so quickly. And this is things that land Philip Rivers from the couch back onto the team.
right. Right. I mean, these are some very good points, and I do hope that the Cowboys never have to call back Troy Aikman, or but we know Troy is ready. Like
Oh
they
yeah,
just,
he's in shape. He's in
he's in
shape.
shape. He's
Yeah,
ready.
he's in
We've seen
shape.
him throwing a. He's ready. Um, so Tim, thank you for taking me through those things. I was just curious, and as always, I learned a lot on this call. Thank you again for joining Play Call, and for all of you out there, if you like and subscribe to the channel, you can see more of this. Just random conversations that end up full out conversations about the sports we love. All right, I'm Trisha Joy. Peace.